Welcome to Bookwaves Audio, your guide to improving English speaking skills. In this audiobook, you will learn practical strategies to think in English, speak confidently, expand your vocabulary, and express yourself naturally in any situation. Each chapter is designed to help you practice consistently, develop fluency, and use English in real-life conversations with ease. Whether you are a beginner or looking to refine your skills, this audiobook will take you step by step through listening, thinking, speaking, storytelling, and using idioms and advanced expressions naturally. Follow along, practice daily, and immerse yourself in the techniques shared here. By the end, you will notice a significant improvement in your confidence and ability to communicate in English. Remember to subscribe and stay tuned for more audiobooks that will help you master English and grow your skills further. Let's begin this journey and take your English speaking to the next level. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The real reason you struggle with speaking English. Have you ever wondered why, even after studying English for years, speaking still feels hard? You can understand movies, you can read books, you even know grammar, but when it's time to speak, your words freeze, your brain goes blank, you feel nervous, your mouth gets dry, and somehow the English you know disappears. This struggle is not just about language, it's about emotion. Most people don't fail at English because of lack of vocabulary or grammar. They fail because of fear of being judged, fear of making mistakes, fear of not sounding good enough. Think about it. From childhood, many of us are taught that mistakes are bad. In school, we're corrected for every little error. We start to believe that speaking English means being perfect. So when we open our mouth, a small voice inside whispers, "What if I say it wrong?" That one thought blocks everything. Fluency doesn't start with perfect grammar. It starts with permission. Permission to sound imperfect. To speak, even when you're not ready. The truth is, no one becomes fluent by staying silent. You only improve when you allow yourself to speak freely, to make errors, and to learn through them. If you look at how children learn their first language, they don't worry about grammar or pronunciation. They listen, they repeat, they make mistakes, and they keep trying. Every error brings them closer to fluency. The same rule applies to you. Most learners never build this mindset. They study rules, memorize words, and chase perfection, but they never train the one muscle that matters most: confidence. Without confidence, all your knowledge stays locked inside. There is a big difference between knowing English and speaking English. Knowing English means you can understand it on paper. Speaking English means you can use it in real time, without fear. The first happens in your mind. The second happens in your heart. To truly improve, you have to stop thinking of English as a school subject. Start seeing it as a tool, a living, breathing part of communication. When you speak, your goal is not to impress. Your goal is to connect. Imagine you're talking to a friend. You're not performing for a crowd. You're just sharing an idea. You pause. You laugh. You search for words. That's completely normal. Every fluent speaker does that, even native speakers. The difference is, they don't judge themselves for it. Fluency isn't speed. Fluency is flow. It's the ability to keep going, even when you make a small mistake. It's the courage to express what's inside without stopping yourself. So, how do you build that courage? It starts with understanding your fear. Fear of speaking English doesn't come from English itself. It comes from how you think about yourself. When you say, "My English is bad," your brain starts believing it. When you say, "I'm not confident," your body reacts with hesitation. Your thoughts create your voice. To change your English, you must first change your inner story. But here's the secret. You'll never feel ready. The moment of readiness never arrives. You have to start before you feel prepared. The more you speak, the more your brain learns to relax. Think of it like learning to swim. You can read about swimming for years, but until you step into the water, you'll never truly know how it feels. The same is true for speaking English. You must speak to learn how to speak. Let's look at what happens inside your brain when you try to speak. When you think of a sentence, your brain first finds the meaning, then looks for the English words, then moves those words to your mouth. If you haven't practiced speaking enough, that chain feels slow, you hesitate, and in that gap, fear slips in. The key is to shorten that gap by practicing real speech, not reading silently, not memorizing, but speaking aloud every day. Even 5 minutes of daily speaking will do more for your fluency than 1 hour of grammar study, because speaking is a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. You might think, but I don't have anyone to talk to. That's okay. You can practice alone. Talk to yourself. Describe your day in English. Read a story aloud. Record your voice and listen to it. The goal isn't perfect. The goal is activity, keeping your English alive. Also remember, fluency doesn't grow from pressure. It grows from patience. You cannot rush confidence. It blooms when you nurture it gently, when you give yourself time and kindness. There's another truth about English speaking that few people talk about. It's not only about your mouth or your brain. It's also about your identity. Every language carries a culture, an energy. Chase clarity. People don't care about how native you sound. They care about how honest and understandable you are. So, the real reason you struggle with speaking English isn't because you don't know enough. It's because you don't give yourself permission to be imperfect. You wait for confidence to come before speaking, but confidence only grows after you speak. Let this chapter be your turning point. From today, speak even when you feel unsure. Smile when you make a mistake. Laugh at your small error. Each one is proof that you are growing. When you stop judging yourself, English will stop judging you too. It will become your friend, something you can play with, learn from, and enjoy. Fluency begins the moment you decide to open your mouth without fear. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into how you can build that confidence through small daily practice, the kind of practice that fits into your life and transforms hesitation into natural speech. You've been listening to Bookwaves Audio. Thank you for joining this journey. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, Building Confidence Through Daily Practice. Chapter 2, Building Confidence Through Daily Practice. Many learners struggle with speaking English because they have the knowledge but not the confidence to use it. They know words, they understand grammar, but when it comes to speaking, their voice falters. Confidence is the bridge that connects knowledge to communication, and building it is less about talent and more about consistent practice. You cannot buy confidence, you cannot memorize it, and you cannot borrow it from someone else. Confidence grows, slowly and steadily, when you engage with English every single day, in small but deliberate ways. It starts with recognizing that perfection is not the goal. Most people delay speaking because they want to say things flawlessly. They worry about pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary, imagining judgment from others if they stumble. This mindset keeps them silent, but the truth is, fluency is born from imperfection. Speaking without fear, making mistakes, and learning from them is the path to real confidence. The moment you accept that errors are part of growth, you unlock the ability to speak freely. Daily practice is the foundation. You might think 5 minutes is too little, but even short, consistent practice is more effective than long, sporadic sessions. 5 minutes every day, repeated over weeks and months, accumulates into hours of experience. You begin to notice changes in how naturally words come to your mouth, how comfortable you feel expressing ideas, and how your inner hesitation slowly disappears. The consistency matters more than duration. A single hour of practice in a week cannot match 5 minutes every day. To maximize the effect of daily practice, you must engage actively with English. Reading silently or passively listening to content is helpful, but speaking aloud is essential. Speak about your day, Describe your surroundings or retell a story. Don't worry about accuracy at first. Your goal is to activate your speaking muscle. The brain learns language patterns not only by listening but also by producing language. The more you produce, the faster your fluency improves. One highly effective method is shadowing. Shadowing involves listening to a sentence or short passage in English and immediately repeating it, mimicking the rhythm, intonation and pace. It may feel strange at first, but your mouth and brain begin to synchronize. You train your mind to anticipate words, and your voice starts to sound natural. Shadowing works best with content you enjoy. Podcasts, audiobooks, or dialogues from movies. Repeating lines aloud, even if imperfect, embed structures in your brain, making them easier to recall in real conversation. Another essential aspect of daily practice is creating a safe environment to experiment. Many learners hesitate because they fear judgment. They imagine others noticing every mistake. But the truth is, most people are not paying that much attention. Even if they do notice, mistakes are natural, and you are learning. Start with private practice if necessary. Speak in front of a mirror. Record yourself narrating simple stories. Listen and reflect on your pronunciation and word choice. Over time you become comfortable with your own voice, which translates into confidence in real conversation. Small, consistent wins build momentum. Every time you speak for a few minutes without hesitation, your brain receives feedback. I can do this. That feedback accumulates into a powerful belief system. You start to anticipate success rather than failure. Confidence is not a sudden transformation. It is the result of these small victories over time. Integrating English into your daily life is equally important. Surround yourself with the language in ways that feel natural. Change your phone or computer settings to English. Watch movies without subtitles, listen to songs or podcasts, and read aloud from books or articles that interest you. Immersing yourself in the language creates a subtle but powerful reinforcement that keeps English alive in your mind and mouth. The more frequently you interact with English, the less intimidating it becomes. Fear often blocks learners more than lack of knowledge. The fear of speaking, the fear of making mistakes, and the fear of judgment are what silence many learners. Daily practice diminishes this fear. Each time you speak, you expose the fear to action. The brain begins to associate speaking with growth, rather than threat. Confidence is nothing more than repeated exposure to action in the presence of fear. Over time, speaking English no longer triggers anxiety but generates excitement and curiosity. Even when practice is done alone, it remains powerful. Talking to yourself, narrating daily activities, describing the environment, or pretending to explain something to a friend strengthens your brain's language circuits. Recording your voice and listening critically allows self-assessment and gradual improvement. Solo practice is not inferior. In fact, it is the foundation upon which confident communication is built. Once your comfort grows, speaking with others becomes natural and enjoyable. Mindset plays a crucial role. Confidence is largely mental. You can enhance it by affirming positive beliefs about your speaking ability. Simple affirmations like, I am learning, I can communicate, or mistakes are part of growth. Rewire your thought patterns. These statements may feel strange initially, but when repeated daily, they become embedded, reducing self-criticism and hesitation. Your internal dialogue sets the tone for your external voice. It is also important to understand that confidence is a gradual process, not an overnight achievement. Many learners become discouraged when they do not notice immediate improvements. The key is persistence. Even small practice sessions accumulate into significant results. Progress may feel invisible at first, but the brain quietly adapts and strengthens neural pathways responsible for speech. Consistency and patience are your allies in building lasting confidence. Another strategy to reinforce confidence is pairing speaking practice with enjoyable activities. Narrate a story while walking, describe a scene while cooking, or repeat lines from movies you enjoy. The combination of fun and practice reduces stress and makes the process feel natural. Learning English does not need to be rigid or tedious. It should feel alive and engaging. Repetition is essential. Confidence is not only built by trying new things, but also by repeating familiar sentences, phrases, and expressions. Daily repetition ingrains patterns in your mind and mouth, reducing hesitation and improving fluency. When certain structures become second nature, your brain no longer pauses to construct sentences. Conscious speaking becomes automatic, smooth, and confident. The environment around you subtly influences your confidence as well. Surround yourself with English in social settings, online communities, or discussion groups. Engaging with supportive learners or native speakers reinforces motivation and normalizes the process of making mistakes. Observing others' learning journeys reminds you that errors are natural and that everyone progresses at their own pace. Courage is at the heart of building confidence. Courage does not mean fearlessness. It means acting despite fear. Each time you speak, especially when you feel unsure, you exercise courage. Courage and confidence grow together. Daily practice is not only about words, it is about developing the bravery to express yourself and take risks in communication. Consistency turns effort into habit. When speaking English becomes a daily routine, it no longer feels like a chore. Your brain begins to expect it naturally, reducing anxiety and enhancing fluency. Daily repetition, even if imperfect, signals to your mind that speaking English is part of your identity. Over time, you internalize the role of a confident speaker. Finally, remember that confidence is not the result of perfection but of action. Every word you speak, every sentence you form, every mistake you make, contributes to your growth. There is no shortcut. The bridge from hesitation to fluency is built step by step, day by day. Embrace the process, engage with the language daily, and trust that your confidence will strengthen naturally. Once you integrate these practices into your daily life, something remarkable happens. Speaking English ceases to be intimidating. You start to anticipate conversations rather than avoid them. Your voice flows naturally, and your words carry clarity and assurance. The nervousness that once blocked your speech transforms into quiet excitement. Confidence is no longer something you chase. It becomes a natural outcome of your daily practice. This chapter sets the stage for the next step. Learning not just to speak confidently, but to think in English, so that words flow effortlessly without translating from your native language. When you can think in English, your fluency accelerates dramatically. You begin to speak naturally, like the language belongs to you, and your practice becomes effortless. Daily practice is the foundation of fluency, and confidence is the result. The more consistently you engage, the faster you progress. With patience, repetition, and courage, your speaking ability grows exponentially, preparing you for the next chapter, where we explore the transformative power of thinking in English. Chapter 4. Expanding vocabulary naturally. Learning new words is one of the most important steps to improving English speaking skills. Many learners focus on memorizing long lists of vocabulary or studying from textbooks, but this approach often fails because words remain disconnected from real life. The most effective way to expand vocabulary is to learn words naturally, within the context of your daily experiences and thought. When you encounter a new word, do not just memorize its meaning. Observe how it is used, notice the situations it fits, and imagine yourself using it in conversation. Words become powerful only when they are connected to actions, feelings, and real-life situations. For example, instead of just memorizing the word delighted, think about moments in your day when you felt delighted and describe them in English. This connection strengthens memory and encourages immediate usage. Reading is one of the most effective tools for natural vocabulary growth. When you read stories, articles, or even simple dialogues in English, your brain absorbs new words in context. You notice how words are combined, how they flow within sentences, and how they express emotions and ideas. Reading aloud further reinforces these patterns, helping your brain store both pronunciation and usage. Reading is not about speed, but about attention. Observe, reflect, and internalize each word and phrase. Listening is equally important. When you listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or conversations, pay attention to words that are unfamiliar. Do not stop at translation. Instead, try to understand meaning through context. Notice the tone, the surrounding words, and the situation. When you infer meaning naturally, your brain begins to store words the way a native speaker would, linking meaning to context rather than translation. Daily observation of your environment is another method to grow vocabulary naturally. Describe your thoughts, plans, and feelings in English. I am going to cook lunch now. I feel happy because the weather is nice. Each sentence, no matter how simple, reinforces vocabulary and encourages fluent speech. Over time, your brain begins to associate words with ideas naturally, bypassing translation. Shadowing remains a critical technique at this stage. When you hear a new word used in a sentence, repeat the sentence aloud, mimicking rhythm, tone, and emphasis. This not only reinforces pronunciation, but also strengthens memory of the word's proper usage. Words learned this way feel alive, not like abstract items to memorize, and are easier to retrieve during real conversations. Another natural way to grow vocabulary is through stories. Create short stories in your mind or on paper, using new words. If you have learned the word astonished, imagine a scenario where someone feels astonished and describe it in English. Mental storytelling links words to emotions and experiences, making vocabulary meaningful and memorable. Avoid relying too heavily on dictionaries or word lists. These methods isolate words from real usage, making them difficult to remember. Instead, immerse yourself in English through reading, listening, and speaking. When a new word appears, integrate it into your mental dialogue or spoken practice immediately. Use it in sentences, describe objects or feelings with it, and repeat it several times in different contexts. The brain learns words best when they are actively used. Consistency is crucial. Daily exposure to new words, even a few at a time, compounds into a large vocabulary over weeks and months. When words are linked to emotions or storytelling, they stick more firmly in memory. Using synonyms and paraphrasing strengthens vocabulary further. When you learn a new word, think of other ways to express the same idea. If the word is happy, consider joyful, pleased, or content. Using variations keeps your vocabulary flexible and adaptable and helps you avoid repetition during conversation. Flexible vocabulary is the hallmark of fluent speakers. Practical application is essential. Whenever you learn a word, challenge yourself to use it immediately in thought, conversation, or writing. Integration is the key. Words left on a page or in a mental list are forgotten quickly. Words used, repeated, and connected to context remain alive and accessible. Visualization strengthens memory. When learning new words, create mental images for them. For the word towering, imagine a tall building rising into the sky. Link the word to the image in your mind. Visualization creates a natural bridge between thought and language, making retrieval faster and easier. Grouping words by themes also helps. Words related to cooking, travel, emotions, or daily activities are easier to remember when studied together in context. For example, if you are learning cooking words, describe your kitchen routine entirely in English. This thematic integration helps your brain organize vocabulary naturally. Repetition is critical. Hearing, seeing, and using a word multiple times in different situations cements it in your memory. Daily practice, internal narration, reading, and listening create repetition without feeling forced. Your brain internalizes words through experience, Just as a child learns their first language, engaging in conversation, even with yourself, is a powerful tool. Talk aloud about your day. Describe emotions, explain processes, or recount experiences using new vocabulary. The more you speak, the more your vocabulary becomes active, rather than passive. Active words are instantly available for speech and thought. Confidence in using new words grows with exposure. Initially, you may hesitate or use words awkwardly. That is natural. Gradually, repeated use and integration into daily thinking make vocabulary feel effortless. Hesitation fades, fluency rises, and communication becomes natural and expressive. Learning vocabulary naturally also involves curiosity. When encountering a new word, explore its meaning, context, and connotations. Try to connect it to your experiences or feelings. Curiosity drives engagement, and engaged learning accelerates retention. Words learned with curiosity are words you will remember and use. The process of expanding vocabulary naturally is ongoing. There is no end. Language is alive, and learning continues as long as you engage with it. Integrating new words into thoughts, speech, and writing ensures that vocabulary grows continuously, building fluency over time. Once your vocabulary expands, you are better prepared for more complex structures, expressions, and communication challenges. Words give you tools to describe feelings, narrate events, and connect with others effectively. Your mind begins to operate in English naturally, ready to absorb and use more advanced concepts without hesitation. The ability to expand vocabulary naturally prepares you for the next step in your journey: improving pronunciation and accent clarity. Once words are learned and internalized, speaking them confidently and clearly is the next milestone. Your expanding vocabulary becomes the foundation for expressive, confident, and fluent English communication. Chapter 5. Improving pronunciation and accent clarity. Pronunciation and accent clarity are essential for confident English speaking. Even with a strong vocabulary and good grammar, unclear pronunciation can make communication difficult. Many learners focus only on words and sentence structure, neglecting how they sound. Clear pronunciation is not about sounding like a native speaker. It is about being understood easily and speaking with confidence. The first step is to develop awareness of how English sounds. English has certain vowel and consonant sounds that may not exist in your native language. Listening carefully to these sounds is essential. Notice the difference between words like ship and sheep, but and bet, or think and sink. Understanding the sounds allows you to reproduce them accurately, which is the foundation of clarity. Listening is the key to improvement. Exposure to English through movies, podcasts, and audiobooks trains your ear to recognize subtle differences in sounds, rhythm, and intonation. Pay attention to stress patterns in words and sentences. English words often emphasize one syllable more than others, and sentences have natural rises and falls. Mimicking these patterns improves both pronunciation and natural flow. Shadowing remains one of the most effective techniques. Listen to a short sentence or phrase and repeat it immediately, copying rhythm, stress, and tone. Shadowing helps your mouth, tongue, and lips work together to produce English sounds accurately. Repetition reinforces memory and builds muscle coordination. Over time, speaking becomes more precise and confident. Pronunciation improves when you break words into syllables. Many learners struggle with long or complex words because they try to say them in one go. Divide words into smaller sounds and pronounce each syllable clearly. Slowly combine the syllables until the word feels natural. This technique reduces errors and builds confidence in tackling unfamiliar words. Record your voice regularly. Listening to yourself helps identify patterns of mistakes and areas for improvement. You may notice that certain sounds are unclear or that your rhythm is off. Compare your recordings with native speakers and adjust gradually. Self-awareness is crucial for continuous improvement. Another important aspect is accent clarity. not accent perfection. You do not need to eliminate your natural accent entirely. The goal is to speak clearly and be easily understood. Focus on problematic sounds that often cause misunderstanding. Common examples include thas, al, v, and f sounds. Practicing these sounds consistently strengthens clarity without erasing your unique voice. Practice minimal pairs. These are pairs of words that differ by only one sound, such as bat and pat, ship and sheep, or cat and cut. Repeating minimal pairs sharpens your ear and mouth, training you to distinguish and produce subtle differences. This practice enhances both listening and speaking abilities. Tongue twisters are also effective. They may seem like fun exercises, but they improve muscle coordination and pronunciation accuracy. Start slowly and repeat frequently, gradually increasing speed while maintaining clarity. Tongue twisters strengthen your articulation and prepare you for real-life speaking situations. Integrating pronunciation practice into daily activities ensures consistency. Describe your surroundings, narrate your day, or read aloud in English while focusing on clear pronunciation. The more you use these techniques naturally, the faster your clarity improves. Daily attention to sounds and rhythm builds lasting habits. Stress and intonation are often overlooked. English is a stress-timed language, meaning some syllables are longer, louder, or higher in pitch than others. Correct stress makes speech sound natural and improves comprehension. Pay attention to patterns in sentences. For example, questions often rise at the end, while statements fall. Practicing these patterns increases fluency and makes your speech more engaging. Listening to a variety of English accents helps you adapt to different speakers. Exposure to American, British, Australian, and other accents trains your ear and prevents confusion. It also helps you develop a flexible pronunciation style, allowing you to understand and communicate effectively with a wide range of speakers. Slow down when speaking. Many learners rush, thinking speed equals fluency. Speaking too fast often leads to unclear pronunciation. Focus on clarity first. Pronounce each word carefully, then gradually increase speed while maintaining intelligibility. Fluent and clear speech requires balance between speed and accuracy. Using visual and tactile cues helps reinforce correct pronunciation. Watch the mouth and tongue positions of speakers in videos and mimic the movements. Feeling how sounds are formed strengthens muscle memory and improves accuracy. Combining visual observation with listening and repetition accelerates progress. Consistency and patience are critical. Pronunciation changes do not happen overnight. Daily practice, repetition, and attention to sounds create gradual but permanent improvement. Over time, unclear sounds become precise. Your rhythm and intonation feel natural, and your accent becomes easier to understand. Confidence in pronunciation grows with practice. The more you speak clearly and accurately, the more you trust your voice. Confidence and clarity feed each other. Fluent speakers are not always perfect. They are confident, understandable, and expressive. Fluency improves when pronunciation is integrated with vocabulary and sentence structure. Words learned and used during daily practice become easier to articulate. Sentences flow naturally, and your voice carries meaning effectively. Clear pronunciation turns your vocabulary into a living, usable tool for communication. Practicing with real conversations is essential. Speak with friends, teachers, or language partners, focusing on clarity rather than perfection. Feedback helps identify unclear sounds and habits. Over time, repeated practice in real situations reinforces muscle memory and builds confidence in natural communication. Accent clarity also depends on rhythm and pauses. Natural pauses give your listener time to process information and make your speech sound deliberate and fluent. Avoid rushing through sentences. Pausing strategically improves understanding and allows you to maintain clear pronunciation throughout. Learning pronunciation is an ongoing process. Even native speakers continue to refine their speech. Regular attention to sounds, stress, rhythm, and intonation ensures continued improvement. Integrating these techniques into daily English use accelerates progress and builds confidence. Once pronunciation and accent clarity are strengthened, you are ready for the next step: developing natural conversation skills. Clear pronunciation allows your words to flow effortlessly, making interactions smooth, engaging, and confident. Fluent speech becomes a tool for connection, not just a skill to practice. Chapter 6. Developing natural conversation skills. Speaking English fluently is not just about knowing vocabulary and grammar. True fluency comes from the ability to have natural conversations. Natural conversation is fluid, responsive, and engaging. It involves not only speaking clearly, but also listening actively, responding appropriately, and expressing ideas confidently. Developing this skill requires practice, awareness, and a mindset that embraces interaction. One of the first steps in natural conversation is learning to listen actively. Listening is more than hearing words. It means understanding meaning, noticing tone, and picking up cues about emotion and intent. When you listen actively, you respond more naturally. Conversations become a two-way exchange, rather than a one-sided effort. Your responses flow because your brain has already processed the information meaningfully. Responding appropriately is crucial. Many learners struggle because they do not know what to say next. To improve, practice responding to questions or statements in real or imagined conversations. For example, if someone says the weather is nice, think of natural responses. Yes, it is sunny today, or I hope it stays like this all week. These small exchanges train your mind to react naturally without hesitation. Internal rehearsal helps prepare for real conversations. Imagine different situations in English and practice how you would respond. What would you say at a store, at school, or in a casual chat with a friend? Rehearsing mentally allows your brain to access appropriate vocabulary, expressions, and sentence structures quickly when the real moment arrives. Conversation also relies on context. Pay attention to social cues, tone, and the situation. Formal and informal settings require different language. Speaking naturally means adjusting your words, tone, and speed according to context. Practicing in various simulated environments helps you develop adaptability and confidence. Asking questions is a powerful tool in conversation. Questions show interest, keep the dialogue flowing, and give you more time to think. Simple questions like "How was your day?" "What did you do?" or "Can you tell me more?" encourage interaction and make conversations feel natural. Learning to ask and answer questions without overthinking builds confidence and fluency. Pausing strategically improves conversation. Silence is not a problem if used intentionally. Pausing gives you time to think, signals engagement to the listener, and creates a natural rhythm. Avoid rushing responses. Thoughtful pauses contribute to clarity and make your speech sound more polished and deliberate. Using natural phrases and expressions enhances fluency. Common phrases like "I see," "That makes sense," or "What do you think?" help maintain flow. These expressions bridge ideas between sentences and make conversations feel smoother. Observing how native speakers use these phrases provides patterns you can adopt in your own speech. Body language and facial expressions support natural conversation. Even if your words are correct, communication feels incomplete without nonverbal cues. Gestures, nodding, and eye contact reinforce meaning and make interactions engaging. Practicing conversations in front of a mirror or with a friend helps integrate verbal and nonverbal communication. Confidence is essential for natural conversation. Nervousness often causes hesitation, pauses, or monotone speech. Confidence grows with preparation, practice, and positive self-talk. Remind yourself that making mistakes is part of learning. Every interaction is an opportunity to practice, refine, and grow. Storytelling is a powerful element of natural conversation. Sharing experiences, narrating events, or describing personal observations keeps listeners engaged. Storytelling connects vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation in a practical context. Begin with short stories and gradually increase detail. The more you tell stories, the easier it becomes to speak naturally in any situation. Practice listening and responding to different types of English speakers. Exposure to varied accents, speech speeds, and conversational styles prepares you to adapt. Being flexible allows you to maintain smooth conversation even when the speaker uses unfamiliar expressions or accents. Adaptability is a key component of natural communication. Think in English during conversations. Avoid translating from your native language. Direct thinking in English allows responses to emerge naturally. The combination of vocabulary, pronunciation, and internal dialogue trained in previous chapters makes spontaneous speech possible. Over time, conversations feel effortless rather than rehearsed. Expanding small talk skills enhances natural conversation. Topics like weather, hobbies, movies, or daily routines provide opportunities to interact without pressure. Practice these topics mentally or with friends. Small talk builds fluency, confidence, and comfort in everyday interactions. The ability to engage in casual conversation is a hallmark of natural speakers. Reflecting on conversations is a useful learning tool. After each interaction, think about what went well and what could be improved. Did you use new vocabulary? Did you pause appropriately? Did your sentences flow naturally? Reflection reinforces learning, helps you identify areas for growth, and accelerates improvement. Engaging with native speakers or advanced learners accelerates progress. Real interactions expose you to authentic language use, rhythm, and cultural context. Even brief conversations provide valuable feedback and experience. Each interaction increases confidence, improves comprehension, and strengthens natural speaking ability. Fluency in conversation also requires emotional connection. Expressing feelings, opinions, and reactions naturally makes communication engaging. Practice describing emotions in English. I feel excited. That surprised me. I am curious about that. Linking words to feelings and reactions strengthens memory and improves expressive ability. Practice improvisation to boost responsiveness. Imagine unexpected questions or topics and respond spontaneously in English. This trains your brain to react quickly, reduces hesitation, and improves adaptability. Improvisation exercises prepare you for real-life conversations, where the direction is unpredictable. Consistency and patience are essential. Natural conversation skills develop gradually through repeated exposure, practice, and reflection. Each interaction strengthens vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency simultaneously. Daily engagement ensures continuous improvement and builds lasting confidence. Fluent conversation integrates all previous skills: thinking in English, expanded vocabulary, clear pronunciation, and confident expression. The more you practice, the smoother your interactions become. Conversations no longer feel stressful. They become opportunities to express yourself, connect with others, and enjoy using English naturally. Developing natural conversation skills prepares you for advanced communication, including debates, presentations, and professional discussions. Once you can speak comfortably in everyday conversations, higher-level communication becomes achievable. Fluency in natural conversation is the foundation for all advanced English-speaking tasks. The next step in your journey focuses on listening comprehension, an essential skill for responding accurately and confidently. Strong listening enables you to anticipate meaning, catch details, and participate fully in dynamic conversations. Developing this skill will further enhance your natural conversation ability and overall fluency. Chapter 7. Mastering Listening Comprehension. Listening comprehension is one of the most important skills for becoming fluent in English. You can know thousands of words, speak clearly, and think in English, but if you cannot understand others, communication becomes difficult. Listening is not just hearing words, it is about understanding meaning, tone, and intention. Mastering this skill improves confidence, responsiveness, and natural conversation ability. The first step is to train your ear to recognize different English sounds. English has many vowel and consonant variations, and speakers often blend sounds together. Pay attention to the difference between words like live and leave, bet and bat, or coat and court. By noticing subtle distinctions, you improve your ability to catch words accurately during real conversations. Active listening is essential. Focus on understanding the message rather than translating each word. Translation slows comprehension and creates hesitation. Instead, try to infer meaning from context, tone, and surrounding words. This skill allows your brain to process English as a whole language, making comprehension faster and more intuitive. Listening daily is critical. Use podcasts, audiobooks, conversations, or movies. Pay attention to pronunciation, intonation, stress, and rhythm. Observe how native speakers link words and phrases. Repeated exposure trains your brain to recognize patterns and anticipate meaning. Consistent listening improves speed, accuracy, and understanding. Shadowing strengthens listening comprehension. Listen to a sentence or phrase, then repeat it immediately. Focus on both pronunciation and meaning. Shadowing reinforces your ability to hear and process sounds accurately, while training your brain to respond naturally. This combination of listening and speaking accelerates overall fluency. Context plays a vital role in understanding. Words may have multiple meanings depending on the situation. For example, the word right can mean correct, a direction, or a privilege. Pay attention to the surrounding words and the topic to understand intended meaning. Contextual awareness allows you to comprehend conversations even when unfamiliar words appear. Listening for keywords is another effective strategy. In every conversation, certain words carry the main meaning. Focus on nouns, verbs, and descriptive adjectives to grasp the message. Understanding key words first allows you to follow the conversation even if some parts are unclear. This approach builds confidence and prevents frustration during real interactions. Predicting content improves comprehension. When you listen, anticipate what might come next, based on context or previous sentences. Predictions help your brain stay engaged and ready to understand, making listening faster and more accurate. Predictive thinking is a natural part of fluent comprehension. Taking notes while listening can also help, especially for podcasts, lectures, or long explanations. Jot down important points or ideas in English without worrying about grammar. Notes reinforce memory, allow review, and strengthen the connection between hearing and understanding. Over time, this practice enhances active listening skills. Listening comprehension requires patience. At first, understanding full sentences or conversations may feel difficult. You might catch only parts of sentences or miss some details. This is normal. With consistent practice, comprehension gradually improves. Every listening experience contributes to brain training and language development. Engaging with varied accents is important. English is spoken worldwide, and accents differ in pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. Exposure to multiple accents prevents confusion and builds flexibility. Listening to speakers from different regions trains your ear to understand meaning rather than relying on familiarity with a single accent. Watching movies or videos without subtitles is an advanced practice. Focus on the flow, tone, and visual context to infer meaning. Avoid pausing to translate every word. Let the brain absorb English as a whole. This immersive approach trains listening comprehension naturally and builds confidence for real-life conversations. Active mental participation strengthens listening. Ask yourself questions as you listen. What is happening? What does the speaker feel? What might happen next? Answer in English mentally. Engaging with content in this way keeps your brain alert and improves understanding. Listening becomes an interactive process rather than passive hearing. Repetition enhances comprehension. Listening to the same content multiple times allows your brain to notice details previously missed. Words, expressions, and sentence structures become familiar, and understanding deepens. Repeated exposure reinforces vocabulary, pronunciation, and overall fluency. Slow and clear listening is useful for beginners. Start with slower audio and gradually move to normal or faster speech. This progression trains your ear to adjust and recognize natural speech patterns. Over time, comprehension improves without conscious effort, and faster conversations become easier to follow. Predicting meaning from tone and emotion is another skill to develop. How something is said often carries as much meaning as the words themselves. Pay attention to pitch, stress, and emphasis to interpret intent. Understanding emotion enhances comprehension and allows you to respond naturally in conversations. Listening while reading enhances retention. Follow along with a transcript while listening to an audiobook or speech. This dual input reinforces word recognition, pronunciation, and comprehension. Once familiar with the content, listen again without reading. Your brain learns to process sounds independently while retaining understanding. Interacting with English speakers is invaluable. Live conversations challenge your listening skills with natural speed, slang, and interruptions. Engaging in real dialogue forces you to focus, process quickly, and respond accurately. Regular interaction builds confidence, fluency, and natural comprehension skills. Learning to ask for clarification is part of effective listening. If you do not understand something, practice phrases to request repetition or explanation in English. This skill keeps conversations flowing and reduces frustration. It also demonstrates confidence and active participation in communication. Developing listening comprehension is a continuous process. The more you expose yourself to English in context, the faster your brain adapts. Over time, you begin to understand phrases, sentences, and idioms without conscious effort. Listening becomes intuitive, and your ability to participate in conversations improves dramatically. Mastering listening comprehension complements speaking skills. When you understand spoken English fully, your responses become faster, more accurate, and more natural. Listening comprehension provides the foundation for meaningful conversation, confident expression, and fluent communication in everyday life. Once your listening skills are strong, you are ready to focus on thinking quickly in English during real conversations. This skill ensures that you respond naturally, maintain flow, and communicate effectively without hesitation. Strong listening comprehension is the gateway to rapid, confident, and fluent English speaking. Chapter 8. Thinking quickly in English. Thinking quickly in English is a skill that separates confident speakers from hesitant ones. Many learners struggle because they translate sentences in their minds or pause too long to choose the right words. This delay interrupts flow and makes conversations feel unnatural. Developing the ability to think instantly in English allows you to respond smoothly, maintain conversation rhythm, and express ideas clearly. The first step is to reduce reliance on translation. When you think in your native language and then convert to English, you lose time and create hesitation. Instead, train your brain to connect ideas directly with English words. Describe your surroundings, actions, and thoughts in English silently or aloud. Over time, your mind begins to process English directly, bypassing translation. Daily practice of rapid internal narration improves thinking speed. As you go about your day, describe what you are doing in English. I am cooking dinner. The water is boiling. I need to stir the vegetables. These simple exercises teach your brain to formulate sentences instantly. Repetition makes this process automatic, so when you speak to others, your responses are immediate. Mental improvisation is crucial. Imagine unexpected questions or scenarios and respond in English instantly. What would you say if someone asked about your favorite movie? How would you react if someone gave you advice? By rehearsing spontaneous responses mentally, your brain learns to generate English sentences quickly and naturally. Engaging in rapid conversation exercises enhances quick thinking. Practice short dialogues with a friend, language partner, or even yourself. Ask questions and answer without overthinking. The goal is to focus on conveying meaning rather than perfection. Speed and fluidity develop through repeated real-time practice. Listening comprehension supports quick thinking. The faster and more accurately you understand what others are saying, the faster you can respond. Strong listening skills allow you to anticipate meaning, predict responses, and formulate sentences instantly. Listening and thinking work together, creating a seamless communication loop. Using simple sentences initially helps. Complex sentences can slow thought processing. Speak clearly and directly at first. As you gain confidence and speed, gradually expand to longer and more complex sentences. The brain adapts to higher-level structures more easily once basic rapid thinking is established. Vocabulary familiarity is essential. The more words you know and can recall instantly, the faster your responses. Use your internal English practice to strengthen vocabulary retrieval. Mental exercises, storytelling, and conversation simulations all reinforce your ability to access words quickly under pressure. Imagination plays a key role. Visualize scenes, actions, or stories in English and describe them instantly in your mind. For example, imagine walking in a park and narrate it quickly. The sun warms my face. The birds sing. Children are playing nearby. Visualization links ideas with English expressions naturally, allowing fast and smooth thought-to-speech conversion. Confidence reduces hesitation. Many learners pause because they fear making mistakes. Accepting imperfection allows you to speak quickly without overthinking. Mistakes are part of learning. The brain becomes faster when it is free from doubt and worry about correctness. Active participation in conversations develops rapid thinking. Engage with native speakers, language partners, or group discussions. Real-life interactions challenge your brain to process information. Choose words and respond instantly. Each conversation strengthens speed, fluency, and confidence simultaneously. Practice pattern recognition in sentences. English speakers often use common structures and expressions. Recognizing these patterns allows you to predict responses and formulate sentences faster. For example, questions about hobbies, weather, or daily routines often follow predictable structures. Familiarity with these patterns accelerates thinking and speaking. Thinking in chunks of words rather than individual words improves speed. Instead of constructing sentences word by word, learn to process common phrases or expressions as a unit. I am going to the store. What do you think about that? Can you help me with this? These phrases can be retrieved instantly, making speech smoother and faster. Improvisation games strengthen rapid thinking. Imagine scenarios where you must respond quickly, such as giving directions, explaining a process, or sharing opinion. Force yourself to answer immediately in English. These exercises simulate real conversations and train the brain to produce natural, fluent speech without hesitation. Self-talk in English reinforces quick thinking. Narrate your thoughts, decisions, or reactions silently or aloud throughout the day. The more you practice responding to yourself in real time, the faster your brain retrieves vocabulary and structures when interacting with others. Self-talk creates a safe environment to build speed and confidence. Reading aloud quickly also helps. Pick a passage and try to read it fluently while maintaining clarity. This exercise links eye recognition of words to immediate pronunciation and sentence construction, training your brain to process English faster. Over time, this accelerates thinking during spontaneous conversation. Active engagement with media enhances rapid thinking. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, or follow dialogues in English. Pause occasionally and predict the next sentence or try to respond in your mind instantly. This technique improves anticipation, comprehension, and response speed. Reflection after conversations reinforces rapid thinking. After speaking or listening, recall the dialogue and analyze how quickly you formulated response. Did you hesitate? Which words were slow to come? What could be improved next time? Reflecting sharpens awareness and strengthens mental agility. Repetition builds automaticity. Daily practice, even for short periods, compounds over time. Rapid thinking becomes second nature when your brain frequently processes English under realistic conditions. Automatic retrieval of words, phrases, and sentence structures enables smooth and confident communication. Combining listening, thinking, and speaking exercises creates a continuous improvement loop. Strong listening comprehension provides information, mental practice allows rapid sentence formation, and speaking reinforces retrieval. This integration develops fluency that feels effortless and natural. Confidence, vocabulary, pronunciation, and listening comprehension all converge to support rapid thinking. Each element reinforces the other. As your brain adapts, responding in English becomes instinctive rather than calculated. You can engage in conversations, share opinions, and narrate ideas without hesitation. Mastering rapid thinking in English prepares you for advanced speaking skills, including storytelling, debates, and professional communication. Quick thinking allows your mind to process complex ideas and express them clearly in real time. Fluent speech becomes a tool for effective connection and self-expression. The next stage in your journey focuses on expressing emotions naturally in English. Rapid thinking combined with emotional expression makes your communication engaging, relatable, and authentic. This skill enhances connection, confidence, and overall fluency in everyday conversations. Chapter 9. Expressing emotions naturally in English. Expressing emotions naturally is an essential part of fluent English communication. Language is not just about words and grammar, it is about connecting with others through meaning, tone, and feelings. When you can express happiness, surprise, anger, or curiosity clearly and naturally, conversations feel alive and engaging. This skill enhances your ability to interact with people confidently and effectively. The first step is understanding how emotions are expressed in English. Each emotion has words, phrases, and expressions associated with it. Happiness can be shown with phrases like, "I am thrilled," "that made me smile," or "I feel so excited." Surprise can be expressed with, "Wow, I did not expect that," or "That is amazing." Observing these patterns helps you connect words with feelings naturally. Internal practice is key. As you go through your day, describe your emotions in English silently or aloud. I feel happy because the weather is nice. I am frustrated that the task is difficult. I am curious about what happens next. These sentences train your brain to link experiences and emotions directly with English words, rather than translating from your native language. Over time, expressing feelings becomes automatic. Facial expressions and tone of voice enhance emotional expression. The same sentence can feel different depending on how you say it. Saying "I am excited" with a bright tone and a smile conveys the emotion more effectively than words alone. Practicing tone alongside vocabulary strengthens natural emotional communication and makes your speech engaging. Reading and listening expose you to authentic emotional expression. Stories, podcasts, and movies show how people express feelings naturally in different situations. Pay attention to word choice, tone, and sentence structure. Notice how excitement, sadness, or surprise is conveyed. Mimicking these patterns in your own speech helps you internalize emotional language. Storytelling is a powerful tool for practicing emotional expression. Share personal experiences or imagine scenarios and describe how you feel in English. For example, narrate a trip to the park and express joy, curiosity, or frustration along the way. Storytelling links vocabulary, sentence structure, and emotions in a natural, memorable way. Role-playing enhances practice. Imagine conversations where expressing emotions is necessary. Respond to a friend sharing exciting news, or comfort someone who is upset. Role-playing prepares you for real-life interactions by training your mind to produce emotional responses quickly and naturally. Think in English when experiencing emotions, instead of thinking in your native language and translating. Describe your feelings immediately in English. I feel nervous about the present. I am excited for the week. I am frustrated with the delay. Direct connection between thought and English expression increases fluency and confidence. Listening comprehension supports emotional expression. Understanding the emotions of others allows you to respond appropriately. Pay attention to tone, stress, and word choice when someone speaks. Matching your response emotionally strengthens conversation and makes interactions meaningful. Expanding vocabulary for emotions is important. Beyond basic words like happy or sad, learn expressions that convey subtle differences. I feel content, overwhelmed, curious, disappointed, or enthusiastic. Using precise emotional words improves clarity and makes your communication richer and more expressive. Practice repetition to reinforce emotional vocabulary. Use new words regularly in thought, speech, or writing. Repetition links words to experiences, ensuring they are easily retrievable during conversation. Over time, your brain instinctively selects appropriate emotional expressions. Improv exercises strengthen emotional expression. Imagine unexpected situations and react naturally in English. How would you feel if someone surprised you with good news? How would you respond to criticism? Spontaneous practice trains quick thinking and authentic emotional communication. Connecting emotions with body language enhances clarity. Gestures, facial expressions, and posture communicate feelings alongside words. Nodding, smiling, or showing concern reinforces your message. Observing native speakers or recording yourself helps integrate nonverbal and verbal expression. Confidence plays a key role. Hesitation or self-consciousness reduces natural emotional expression. Accepting mistakes as part of learning allows you to focus on conveying meaning and feeling rather than perfect grammar. Confidence makes your speech authentic, engaging, and fluent. Practice describing events in detail. Instead of saying, "I am happy," add context. "I am happy because I finished my project on time," or "I am excited to meet my friend after a long week." Descriptive sentences give more depth to your communication and strengthen connections between thoughts, vocabulary, and emotions. Engage in conversations that require emotional response. Speak with friends, teachers, or language partners about experiences, opinions, or daily events. Respond naturally to their feelings and share your own. Real-life practice reinforces emotional expression and improves comfort with spontaneous speech. Visualization is a helpful tool. Imagine emotional scenarios and describe your reactions in English. Picture a surprise party, a challenging task, or a fun adventure. Narrate your feelings using words and tone. Visualization trains your brain to associate emotions directly with English words, increasing fluency and confidence. Think about subtle emotions as well. Beyond basic feelings, express curiosity, relief, anticipation, or disappointment. The more nuanced your emotional vocabulary, the richer your conversations. Recognizing and expressing subtle feelings develops depth, clarity, and naturalness in communication. Consistency is essential. Practice expressing emotions daily, even in small ways. Narrate your thoughts, describe situations, or respond to media content in English. Regular practice strengthens mental connections and makes emotional expression automatic. Mastering emotional expression prepares you for advanced communication skills. Storytelling, debates, discussions, and professional interactions all require conveying feelings authentically. Strong emotional expression makes your English vibrant, relatable, and impactful. The next step focuses on expanding idiomatic knowledge and using phrases naturally. Combining emotional expression with idioms and natural phrases allows you to speak English like a confident, fluent speaker. You will learn to integrate common expressions seamlessly into conversations, making your communication richer and more native-like. Chapter 10. Using idioms and phrases naturally in conversation. Using idioms and natural phrases is an advanced skill that makes English sound fluent and expressive. Idioms are phrases whose meanings are not literal but are understood by native speakers. Mastering them adds color, emotion, and authenticity to your conversations. When used naturally, idioms and phrases allow you to communicate in a way that feels engaging, relatable, and confident. The first step is exposure. Read, listen, and observe how idioms are used in real contexts. Stories, movies, podcasts, and conversations are rich sources. Pay attention not only to the words, but also to the situation, tone, and emotion. Context is key. Understanding when and how an idiom is used ensures that you do not use it awkwardly or out of place. Learn idioms gradually. Start with common ones that appear frequently in everyday speech. Phrases like break the ice, a piece of cake, or hit the nail on the head are widely used and easy to understand. Practice these first in sentences that describe your daily life. This ensures that idioms are linked to real experiences rather than abstract lists. Internal practice strengthens recall. As you go through your day, think of situations where you can use idioms in English. For example, if a task is very easy, mentally say, "It was a piece of cake." If meeting someone new, think, "I hope I can break the ice." Using idioms in thought trains your brain to retrieve them naturally during conversations. Listening comprehension supports idiom usage. Pay attention to how native speakers use phrases and expressions. Notice timing, tone, and context. Mimicking these patterns in your own speech helps integrate idioms seamlessly into your conversations. Over time, you will use idioms automatically rather than forcing them. Practice storytelling with idioms. When narrating events or experiences, incorporate appropriate phrases naturally. For instance, describe a challenging project using phrases like "against the clock" or "pull it off." Linking idioms to stories reinforces meaning, emotion, and context, making them easier to recall during real conversation. Think in English when using idioms. Avoid translating from your native language. Directly associate the phrase with its meaning in English. When you hear someone say "hit the books," understand it as studying hard, not literally hitting something. Direct thinking ensures your idioms sound natural rather than awkwardly translated. Engage in conversations that allow idiomatic expression. Speak with friends, teachers, or language partners about events, opinions, or experience. Listen for opportunities to use phrases naturally, such as describing success, surprise, or challenges. Real conversations reinforce usage and make idioms part of your active vocabulary. Use repetition and variation. Practice the same idiom in multiple situations. For example, the phrase "a piece of cake" can describe a task at work, a simple game, or an easy recipe. Repetition across contexts strengthens understanding and retrieval, ensuring idioms become an integral part of your speech. Visualization aids idiom retention. Create mental images for each phrase. For break the ice, imagine cracking frozen water to start a conversation. For hit the nail on the head, picture someone accurately striking a target. Linking visual images to meaning reinforces memory and makes idioms easier to use spontaneously. Improv exercises are helpful. Imagine scenarios where idioms could be used and respond instantly in English. How would you describe finishing a difficult task quickly or meeting someone new? Spontaneous practice strengthens quick thinking, emotional connection, and natural usage. Confidence is crucial. Using idioms may feel intimidating at first, but hesitation or overthinking can make them sound unnatural. Accept mistakes as part of learning. The more you practice, the smoother and more authentic your idiomatic expressions become. Confidence ensures phrases flow naturally within conversation. Integrate idioms with emotional expression. Many phrases convey feelings subtly. For instance, a slap on the wrist communicates mild punishment or criticism, while over the moon expresses intense happiness. Combining idioms with emotional expression makes your communication richer, relatable, and vivid. Practice writing with idioms. Write short stories, journal entries, or dialogues in English using phrases naturally. Writing reinforces vocabulary, contextual usage, and sentence flow. Over time, your brain automatically integrates idioms into both written and spoken English. Observe native speakers' gestures and tone when using idioms. Non-verbal cues often accompany phrases, adding meaning and emphasis. Mimicking these cues enhances your understanding, pronunciation, and natural flow of expression. Combining verbal and non-verbal elements makes idioms feel authentic. Think about subtle differences in meaning. Some phrases have specific connotations or levels of formality. For example, spill the beans is casual, while reveal information may be formal. Choosing the right expression for the context enhances credibility and naturalness in conversation. Awareness of nuance ensures idioms enhance communication rather than confuse it. Group idioms by theme for easier learning. Phrases related to emotions, work, friendship, or success are easier to remember when learned together. Thematic grouping allows contextual practice, strengthens retrieval, and makes idioms part of your mental English toolkit. Combine idiomatic expression with rapid thinking. As your brain retrieves phrases quickly, your speech becomes smoother and more engaging. The ability to think in English, express emotions, and insert idioms naturally makes your conversation lively, confident, and fluent. Listen, mimic, and practice daily. Exposure to idioms, observing usage, and integrating phrases into thought, speech, and writing ensures gradual but lasting mastery. Daily engagement reinforces memory, builds confidence, and accelerates fluency. Consistency is essential. Using idioms occasionally is not enough. Integrate them into daily practice through storytelling, conversation, and mental exercises. Over time, idiomatic phrases become an effortless part of your English, adding authenticity, expression, and richness to your communication. Once idiomatic knowledge is integrated, you are prepared for Chapter 11, engaging in storytelling and narration naturally. Idioms, phrases, and emotional expression together enable fluent, expressive storytelling that captures attention and communicates meaning effortlessly. Chapter 11, engaging in storytelling and narration naturally. Storytelling is one of the most powerful ways to communicate in English. It allows you to share experiences, entertain, inform, and connect with others. Natural storytelling is not just about correct grammar or vocabulary. It is about making your audience feel involved, following a smooth narrative, and expressing emotion convincingly. Developing this skill makes you a confident and engaging English speaker. The first step is understanding the structure of a story. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning introduces characters, setting, and context. The middle describes the events, actions, or conflicts. The end provides resolution, lessons, or reflections. Recognizing this flow helps organize your thoughts and deliver a coherent narrative. Internal narration is crucial practice. Throughout your day, describe your actions, experiences, or imagined scenarios in English as if telling a story. For example, Narrate walking through a park. I noticed the sun shining through the trees, birds chirping, and children playing. This continuous internal storytelling trains your brain to link ideas fluently in English. Storytelling is enhanced by observation. Pay attention to details in your surroundings and experience. Describe colors, sounds, emotions, and interactions naturally in English. The more vivid your observations, the richer your stories become. Observational storytelling also strengthens vocabulary and descriptive language. Integrating emotions makes your narration engage. Readers or listeners connect when they sense feelings behind words. Describe reactions, excitement, fear, curiosity, or surprise in English. I felt thrilled when I saw the rainbow, or I was nervous before the presentation. Expressing emotions naturally transforms ordinary narration into captivating story. Think in English while storytelling. Avoid translating from your native language. Directly associate events and ideas with English words and phrases. Narrate mentally or aloud in real time. This approach ensures your stories sound natural, smooth, and fluent. Translation often causes pauses and disrupts flow, but direct thinking keeps the narrative seamless. Practice connecting sentences with linking words and natural transitions. Words like then, after that, suddenly, and finally guide listeners through your story without breaking flow. Smooth transitions make your storytelling coherent and engaging. Avoid overcomplicating transitions. Simplicity often sounds most natural. Use idioms, phrases, and expressions naturally in narration. They add color and make your stories relatable. For example, describing a challenging situation as against the clock, or a surprising event as a bolt from the blue enhances vividness. Proper use of idioms within context strengthens fluency and enriches storytelling. Visualization aids storytelling skills. Picture the scene, characters, and events in your mind before narrating. Visual details help your brain generate English words and phrases quickly. When you see the story in your imagination, narrating it aloud or mentally becomes effortless and expressive. Practice storytelling aloud. Speaking your stories strengthens pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Focus on clarity, pace, and emotional tone. Vary your voice to reflect excitement, tension, or calm moments. Oral storytelling develops both speaking and listening skills, preparing you for real conversations or present. Engage in storytelling exercises with others. Share short stories with friends, teachers, or language partners. Pay attention to their reactions and adjust pacing, tone, or expression as needed. Feedback helps refine delivery and makes your narration more natural and engaging. Start with short, simple stories, describing a daily event, personal experience, or imaginary scenario builds confidence and fluency. Gradually increase complexity by adding characters, dialogue, and detailed descriptions. Incremental progression strengthens both language skills and narrative structure. Practice dialogue within stories, including conversations between characters, makes storytelling lively and dynamic. Imagine a dialogue with friends, family, or fictional characters, and narrate both sides in English. Practicing dialogue enhances fluency, emotional expression, and natural conversational skills. Listening to native speakers' storytelling provides valuable insight. Observe sentence rhythm, expression, intonation, and emphasis. Mimic patterns to develop natural phrasing and expressive delivery. Confidence allows stories to unfold naturally and fluently. Linking storytelling with daily experiences enhances relevance. Narrate real events, observations, or emotions in English daily. Even short narratives like a morning routine or weekend activity strengthen language skills, vocabulary recall, and storytelling fluency. Daily practice builds automaticity and natural expression. Integrate rapid thinking into narration. Thinking quickly in English allows you to adapt your story, add details, or respond to listener questions without pausing. Fluency develops when your brain retrieves words, phrases, idioms, and emotions instantly, creating seamless storytelling. Emphasize descriptive language. Colors, sounds, textures, and emotions make your stories vivid. I heard the wind rustling through the golden leaves, or I felt a shiver of excitement when the lights flickered. Descriptive narration engages the listener and strengthens expressive vocabulary. Reflection strengthens storytelling skills. After narrating a story, think about what worked well and what could improve. Did your sentences flow naturally? Did your emotions and idioms fit the context? Did your story maintain listener interest? Reflection reinforces learning and accelerates mastery. Practice storytelling in various contexts. Describe experiences at home, in school, with friends, or in imaginative scenarios. Each context provides unique vocabulary, sentence structures, and expressions, expanding your overall fluency. Diverse practice prepares you for spontaneous real-life narration. Combine storytelling with listening comprehension. Listening carefully to questions, reactions, or prompts allows you to adapt your story naturally. Interactivity strengthens engagement, fluency, and confidence. The ability to respond while narrating demonstrates advanced communication skills. Patience and consistency are key. Storytelling skills develop gradually with regular practice, exposure, and reflection. Daily engagement ensures that fluency, expressive language, emotional connection, and natural phrasing become second nature. Each narrative strengthens multiple aspects of English communication simultaneously. Mastering storytelling and narration prepares you for advanced communication skills such as debates, presentations, teaching, and professional discussions. Fluency in narration allows your English to be expressive, memorable, and impactful. Your audience becomes engaged, understanding both your words and the emotions behind them. The next step in your journey focuses on Chapter 12, expanding vocabulary and using advanced expressions naturally. Combining storytelling, idioms, emotional expression, and rapid thinking with an expanded vocabulary ensures confident and versatile English communication. Chapter 12, expanding vocabulary and using advanced expressions naturally. Expanding vocabulary is one of the most important steps toward mastering English. The more words, phrases, and expressions you know, the more precise and confident your communication becomes. Vocabulary is not only about memorizing words, but also about knowing how to use them naturally, in the right context, and with the right emotion. Advanced expressions enrich your speech, making it sound fluent, professional, and engaging. The first step is consistent exposure. Reading, listening, and observing English in context helps you notice new words and expressions. Books, audiobooks, podcasts, and conversations all provide opportunities to discover unfamiliar vocabulary. Focus on words that appear frequently and are relevant to your everyday life, studies, or work. Contextual understanding makes retention easier than rote memorization. Active practice is crucial. When you learn a new word or phrase, use it immediately in sentences, thought, or speech. Instead of just remembering the word, create examples. The lecture was enlightening. I am intrigued by this topic. Or she navigated the challenge skillfully. Using words actively reinforces memory and develops natural recall. Grouping vocabulary by themes improves learning. Words related to emotions, travel, work, hobbies, or school are easier to remember when practiced together. Thematic grouping strengthens associations and allows you to retrieve words quickly during conversations or writing. Repetition across different contexts helps cement understanding. Internal narration strengthens vocabulary expansion. As you go through your day, describe actions, experiences, or thoughts in English using newly learned words. I am fascinated by the way the clouds look this morning. The project requires careful attention, or I am determined to complete the task efficiently. Narrating mentally or aloud reinforces active use. Using synonyms and variations adds depth. Learning multiple ways to express the same idea prevents repetition and makes your speech more interesting. Instead of always saying happy, you can use thrilled, delighted, content, or overjoyed depending on context. This flexibility allows for natural and precise communication. Idiomatic and advanced expressions enhance fluency. Phrases like "a blessing in disguise," "burn the midnight oil," or "on the same page" enrich speech and make it sound natural. Integrating idioms with advanced vocabulary allows your English to feel expressive, confident, and authentic. Practice by inserting these expressions in storytelling, conversation, or daily thought. Visualization helps retention. Imagine scenarios where new words or expressions apply. If you learn navigate carefully, picture yourself walking through a crowded street and narrate silent, "I need to navigate carefully to avoid obstacles." Linking words with images and actions strengthens memory and allows instant recall. Listening to native speakers is essential. Observe how they use vocabulary in context, sentence rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. Mimicking natural usage helps integrate new words seamlessly into your speech. Listening also reveals nuances of meaning, collocations, and context-specific expressions that dictionaries alone cannot provide. Repetition is key. Encounter words multiple times in reading, listening, or conversation. Each exposure strengthens recognition, recall, and usage. Consistent repetition helps vocabulary move from passive recognition to active use, which is essential for fluent speaking and writing. Engaging in conversations accelerates vocabulary growth. Speaking with native speakers, teachers, or peers exposes you to new words and idioms, provides immediate feedback, and encourages active retrieval. Real-life use of vocabulary reinforces learning faster than isolated study. Conversations also show which expressions sound natural versus forced. Contextual learning ensures natural usage. Words and phrases often have multiple meanings depending on context. Understanding when to use certain words prevents awkward or incorrect speech. For instance, intrigued can describe curiosity about a topic, but may not fit casual conversation about food. Contextual practice sharpens judgment and fluency. Practice writing with new vocabulary. Journals, short stories, or dialogues using advanced expressions strengthen sentence construction, recall, and flexibility. Writing allows time to think about correct usage and experiment with new phrases before applying them orally. Over time, writing and speaking reinforce each other. Internal dialogue improves automatic recall. While performing tasks, narrate silently in English, using advanced vocabulary. "I am analyzing the data carefully." "I need to prioritize tasks efficiently." Or "I feel inspired by this idea." Mental practice strengthens immediate retrieval and natural integration of words into thought. Learning collocations enhances fluency. Certain words naturally pair together, such as "make a decision," "take responsibility," or "highly recommended." Recognizing and practicing collocations allows you to speak more naturally and confidently without searching for words. Collocations create flow and coherence in speech. Detailed expression improves clarity, engagement, and connection with listeners. Confidence supports vocabulary usage. Hesitation or fear of mistakes can prevent you from using new words. Accept that errors are part of learning and focus on conveying meaning. With repeated practice, words and expressions become second nature, allowing fluent and confident communication. Reading aloud with new vocabulary reinforces pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. The combination of seeing, hearing, and speaking words strengthens retention and prepares you for real-time conversation. Over time, reading aloud contributes to thinking in English and using expressions naturally. Integration of all skills is essential. Combining advanced vocabulary, idioms, emotional expression, rapid thinking, and storytelling ensures your English is fluent, expressive, and engaging. Each skill reinforces the other, creating a continuous improvement loop that enhances overall communication. Reflection after practice is valuable. Review which words or phrases were difficult to recall, which were used naturally, and which need reinforcement. Reflection increases awareness, guides targeted practice, and accelerates mastery. Over time, your vocabulary becomes extensive, accessible, and effortless to use. Consistency is the foundation of vocabulary mastery. Daily exposure, active usage, writing, listening, and speaking gradually build a strong foundation. Even short, daily practice sessions contribute significantly. The key is to maintain continuous engagement with new words, expressions, and phrases in natural contexts. Mastering advanced vocabulary and expressions prepares you for Chapter 13. Speaking confidently in any situation. With a rich vocabulary, expressive idioms, natural storytelling, and emotional expression, your English becomes versatile, fluent, and capable of handling conversations, presentations, and interactions in diverse contexts. For Chapter 13. Speaking confidently in any situation. Speaking confidently in English is the culmination of all your learning. You have practiced listening, thinking quickly, expressing emotions, storytelling, using idioms, and expanding vocabulary. Now it is time to bring all these skills together to communicate with ease, clarity, and assurance in any situation. Confidence is not just about knowing words. It is about trusting your ability to express ideas naturally and respond effectively. The first step is believing in yourself. Self-doubt can create hesitation and disrupt the flow of speech. Accept that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. Confidence grows when you focus on expressing meaning and connecting with listeners, rather than aiming for perfection. Preparation strengthens confidence. Before presentations, meetings, or important conversations, think about what you want to say. Prepare key phrases, vocabulary, or stories in advance. Mentally rehearse possible questions and responses. Preparation reduces anxiety and allows your mind to respond more naturally when the moment comes. Practice speaking daily. The more you use English in real or simulated conversations, the more confident you become. Talk to friends, family, language partners, or even yourself. Narrate your day, describe experiences, or explain ideas aloud. Frequent practice builds automaticity, reduces hesitation, and reinforces vocabulary and expressions. Body language supports confident speech. Stand or sit straight. Maintain eye contact, and use gestures naturally. Nonverbal communication complements words, makes your speech engaging, and conveys assurance. Confidence is both verbal and physical, and integrating body language enhances your overall presence. Slow and deliberate speech can improve confidence. Speaking too fast may cause errors or unclear expression. Focus on clarity and pronunciation. Pacing allows your brain to retrieve words, idioms, and expressions accurately, ensuring that your speech is both fluent and understandable. Gradually, natural speed will develop without conscious effort. Thinking in English under pressure is vital. In conversations, avoid translating from your native language. Rapid internal processing allows you to respond instantly, maintain flow, and sound natural. Mental exercises, internal narration, and rapid response practice train your brain to think and speak simultaneously. Active listening strengthens confident responses. Understanding what others say fully allows you to reply appropriately. Pay attention to tone, emotion, and key words. Accurate listening reduces uncertainty, allowing you to speak decisively and maintain engagement in conversation. Storytelling enhances confident communication. Narrating experiences, opinions, or imaginary scenarios engages listeners and gives you control over language flow. Combine idioms, vocabulary, and emotional expression to make your stories vivid. Storytelling creates natural opportunities for confident, fluent speech. Emotional expression supports authenticity. Speak with feelings that match the context. Enthusiasm, curiosity, or empathy makes your words more persuasive and relatable. Listeners respond positively to natural expression, and your confidence grows as conversations feel meaningful and engaging. Practice responding to unexpected questions. Spontaneous conversation is often the most challenging. Role-play scenarios, or imagine unpredictable questions and answer instantly in English. Quick thinking and flexible expression build confidence in handling real-life situations without hesitation. Using idioms and natural phrases enhances confidence. Familiarity with expressions allows you to sound fluent and relatable. When you can naturally incorporate phrases like "on the same page," "hit the ground running," or "a blessing in disguise," your speech feels polished, expressive, and professional. Vocabulary mastery is critical. A broad, active vocabulary allows you to articulate ideas precisely and respond quickly. Practice retrieving words effortlessly through internal narration, conversation, and writing exercise. When words come naturally, confidence in speech increases dramatically. Visualization strengthens preparation and confidence. Imagine conversations, presentations, or social interactions, and mentally rehearse your responses. Picture yourself speaking clearly, using idioms, expressing emotions, and engaging listeners. Visualization trains your mind for real scenarios, reducing nervousness and enhancing fluency. Reflection after speaking improves future performance. After a conversation or presentation, think about what went well and what could improve. Did you speak clearly? Did you respond naturally? Did your vocabulary and expressions match the situation? Reflection builds self-awareness and strengthens confidence over time. Engaging with diverse speakers challenges and expands your skills. Different accents, speaking styles, and contexts force you to adapt. Exposure to variety increases flexibility, ensures your speech remains understandable, and reinforces confidence in any situation. Practice public speaking gradually. Start with small groups or one-on-one conversations, then expand to larger audiences. Public speaking develops composure, clarity, and the ability to maintain flow under pressure. Confidence in small settings naturally translates to larger or more formal situations. Mindset affects confidence. Focus on communication rather than evaluation. Your goal is to express ideas and connect with others, not to impress or avoid mistakes. This mindset reduces fear, encourages fluid speech, and allows you to enjoy speaking English naturally. Consistency ensures lasting improvement. Daily practice, exposure, and engagement build neural connections that support fluent and confident speech. Speaking becomes intuitive when your brain has repeatedly processed English in real contexts. Confidence grows gradually but steadily with persistent effort. Combine all skills for maximum effect. Listening comprehension, rapid thinking, emotional expression, idioms, storytelling, and vocabulary work together to create fluent, confident communication. Each skill reinforces the other, creating a seamless, natural flow of speech. Confidence allows you to handle any situation, casual conversations, academic discussions, professional meetings, or social interactions. When you trust your ability to think, express, and respond in English, communication becomes effortless, meaningful, and enjoyable. Mastering confident speech prepares you for Chapter 14, practicing consistently for long-term fluency. With confidence, fluency, vocabulary, idioms, and expressive storytelling, your English becomes versatile and ready for any context. Consistent practice solidifies these skills and ensures lasting proficiency. For Chapter 14, practicing consistently for long-term fluency. Consistent practice is the foundation of long-term fluency in English. All the skills you have developed, listening comprehension, thinking quickly, emotional expression, storytelling, idioms, advanced vocabulary, and confident speaking, require continuous reinforcement. Without regular practice, progress slows, and fluency becomes harder to maintain. Consistency ensures that your brain keeps processing, retrieving, and producing English naturally. The first step is to establish a daily routine. Dedicate specific times each day for listening, speaking, reading, and writing in English. Even short sessions of 15 to 30 minutes are effective if practiced consistently. The key is regular engagement, not the length of each session. Frequent repetition strengthens neural connections and solidifies skills. Listening should be a daily habit. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, conversations, or news in English. Focus on understanding meaning, tone, and emotion. Repeated exposure improves comprehension, pronunciation, and recognition of natural speech patterns. Listening also prepares your brain for thinking and responding quickly in real conversation. Speaking daily is equally important. Engage in conversations with friends, language partners, teachers, or even yourself. Describe your day, narrate experiences, or discuss ideas aloud. The act of speaking reinforces vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, and sentence structures. Consistent speaking practice builds confidence, flow, and natural rhythm. Reading in English enhances comprehension and vocabulary. Choose materials suitable for your level, including books, articles, or stories. Pay attention to sentence structure, idioms, and descriptive language. Reading exposes you to new words, expressions, and ideas, which you can incorporate into your speaking and writing practice. Writing strengthens memory and active recall. Maintain a journal, write short stories, or compose dialogues using advanced vocabulary and idioms. Writing allows you to experiment with language, organize thoughts, and practice expressive storytelling. Over time, written practice reinforces mental retrieval and natural usage in speech. Internal narration is a powerful tool for consistency. As you go through daily activities, describe actions, observations, and thoughts in English silently or aloud. I am making breakfast. The sky looks cloudy today. Or, I am curious about the upcoming project. Mental practice strengthens automatic thinking in English and prepares your brain for spontaneous conversation. Variety in practice keeps learning engaging. Alternate between listening, speaking, reading, and writing exercises. Include different accents, topics, and contexts. Exposure to diverse situations trains your brain to adapt, improves comprehension, and develops versatility in using English naturally. Repetition reinforces skills. Revisiting vocabulary, idioms, phrases, and stories ensures they remain accessible in your active memory. Repeated practice strengthens connections, making speech fluent and effortless. Feedback highlights strengths and weaknesses, helping you focus on areas that need reinforcement. Goal setting motivates consistent practice. Define specific, achievable targets, such as learning new words, mastering idioms, narrating stories, or participating in conversations. Goals provide direction and a sense of accomplishment, encouraging daily engagement and progress tracking. Integrate advanced skills into daily life. Use idioms, emotional expressions, and storytelling in real conversation. Think quickly in English when responding, and apply new vocabulary naturally. Everyday usage reinforces learning and bridges the gap between practice and practical communication. Visualization enhances practice. Imagine conversations, storytelling, or presentations, and mentally rehearse responses. Visual scenarios provide a safe space for experimentation, rapid thinking, and emotional expression. Practicing mentally complements real-life speaking and listening. Consistency reduces anxiety. Regular engagement makes English familiar and comfortable. When your brain is accustomed to processing and producing English daily, confidence grows. Speaking, listening, and thinking in English become instinctive, reducing hesitation and self-consciousness. Track your progress. Keep a log of daily practice, new words learned, idioms mastered, and stories narrated. Reflection on progress motivates further practice and provides insight into strengths and areas that need more attention. Awareness of growth reinforces commitment to consistency. Engage with the English-speaking environment. Watch movies, listen to music, or follow news in English. Participate in discussions, online forums, or group conversations. Persistence and patience are key to transforming learning into lasting fluency. Combine all learned skills for maximum effect. Listen attentively, think quickly, express emotions naturally, use idioms and advanced vocabulary, narrate stories, and speak confidently. Daily practice integrates these skills seamlessly, creating fluent, expressive, and versatile English communication. Practice should challenge you without overwhelm. Include slightly difficult vocabulary, unfamiliar idioms, or new storytelling technique. Gradual exposure to challenging material stretches your abilities, builds resilience, and strengthens confidence in handling diverse situations. Consistency includes reviewing and reinforcing weak areas. Identify which skills need attention, listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, or storytelling, and devote targeted practice time. Balanced practice ensures that all skills improve simultaneously, leading to well-rounded fluency. Combine internal and external practice. Mental narration, visualization, and self-talk complement conversations, reading and writing. Integrating both internal and external exercises strengthens automatic thinking, recall, and natural usage of English. Long-term fluency requires a mindset of continuous learning. Even advanced speakers continue practicing, learning new words, expressions, and idioms, and refining pronunciation and style. Adopt a growth mindset and commit to lifelong engagement with English. Ultimately, practicing consistently builds confidence, competence, and ease in English. Daily engagement strengthens your brain's ability to process, recall, and produce English naturally. Fluent communication becomes instinctive, enjoyable, and sustainable across all situations. Mastering consistent practice prepares you for Chapter 15, Achieving Fluency and Maintaining Progress. With regular listening, speaking, reading, writing, storytelling, and vocabulary expansion, your English becomes not only fluent but adaptable, expressive, and ready for any challenge. Chapter 15. Achieving Fluency and Maintaining Progress. Achieving fluency in English is the ultimate goal of all your learning and practice. Fluency means more than just knowing words, grammar, or expression. It is the ability to think, respond, and communicate naturally and confidently in any situation. It is the seamless combination of listening, speaking, storytelling, vocabulary, idioms, rapid thinking, emotional expression, and confident interaction. Reaching fluency is a milestone, but maintaining and improving it is an ongoing journey. The first step is recognizing how far you have come. You have built a foundation through consistent practice, expanded your vocabulary, mastered idiomatic expressions, developed rapid thinking skills, and learned to express emotions and tell stories naturally. Each of these elements contributes to fluency. Take a moment to appreciate your progress and understand that fluency is a result of persistent effort, practice, and engagement. Maintaining progress requires continued practice. Fluency is not a static achievement. It is a skill that strengthens with use and weakens. Without it, daily engagement in listening, speaking, reading, and writing ensures that the skills you have built remain strong and accessible. Even a few minutes of focused practice every day contributes significantly to long-term retention. Active listening is essential. Fluent speakers comprehend quickly, anticipate responses, and adapt naturally in conversation. Listening daily to podcasts, videos, stories, and real-life conversations strengthens comprehension and keeps your ear attuned to native speech patterns, vocabulary usage, and natural expression. The more you listen, the more naturally your brain processes English. Thinking in English consistently is crucial. Fluency requires your mind to generate sentences, phrases, and ideas directly in English without translation. Internal narration, mental rehearsal, and spontaneous reflection in English keep your thought process active and aligned with natural speech. Thinking quickly and directly in English maintains fluency in real conversations. Expressing emotions naturally enhances your communication. Fluency is not just about words. It is about connecting meaningfully with others. Confidently expressing happiness, curiosity, surprise, or concern allows you to interact authentically and engage listeners. Emotional expression adds depth, clarity, and relatability to your speech, reinforcing fluent communication. Storytelling remains a cornerstone of fluency. Narrating experiences, ideas, or imaginative scenarios ties together vocabulary, idioms, and sentence structure. Storytelling allows practice of flow, emotional nuance, and natural phrasing. Continue narrating daily, both mentally and aloud, to ensure your storytelling remains fluid, engaging, and adaptable to different contexts. Vocabulary and idioms are essential for richness and precision. Fluency involves not just knowing words, but using them appropriately, accurately, and confidently. Review advanced vocabulary and idioms regularly. Incorporate them into conversation, writing, and storytelling. Using words actively and creatively strengthens your expressive range and ensures your speech remains fluent. Confidence underpins all aspects of fluency. Engaging with diverse speakers and situations maintains versatility. Different accents, speaking speeds, and contexts challenge your comprehension and response skill. Exposure to variety ensures your fluency is adaptable. Participate in conversations, discussions, and presentations to reinforce natural communication in multiple settings. Reading and writing reinforce fluency. Reading expands vocabulary, exposes you to idiomatic expressions, and models sentence structures. Writing allows deliberate practice of grammar, vocabulary, idioms, and storytelling. The integration of reading and writing with speaking strengthens overall language processing and supports fluent communication. Reflection and self-assessment are critical. Regularly evaluate your speaking, listening, and writing. Identify areas of strength and areas needing improvement. Reflection guides targeted practice and maintains awareness of progress. Self-assessment ensures that fluency is actively maintained rather than passively assumed. Consistency is the key to long-term success. Daily practice, even in small amounts, reinforces skills and prevents regression. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, internal narration, and active engagement with English should become habitual. Flexibility ensures that fluency is not rigid, but dynamic, allowing for authentic, effective interaction. Integration of skills is the hallmark of mastery. Listening, speaking, emotional expression, storytelling, idioms, vocabulary, and rapid thinking all work together to create seamless, confident, and engaging communication. Fluency emerges when these elements function as a unified system rather than isolated skills. Daily practice maintains this integration. Lifelong learning sustains fluency. Even after achieving high-level fluency, continuous exposure to new vocabulary, expressions, accents, and contexts keeps your English evolving. Fluency is dynamic, and ongoing engagement ensures that your skills remain relevant, natural, and versatile. Confidence, practice, and persistence together maintain fluency. Trust your abilities, practice consistently, and remain patient with yourself. Real-life application, daily engagement, and continual learning transform proficiency into effortless communication. Fluent speech becomes instinctive, enjoyable, and sustainable over time. Finally, fluency empowers communication. It allows you to share ideas, express emotions, tell stories, engage in debates, and interact effectively in personal, academic, or professional contexts. Achieving fluency is not the end of the journey, but a milestone that opens doors to continuous growth and mastery in English. Your journey from learning basic sentences to thinking in English, expressing emotions, using idioms, storytelling, expanding vocabulary, and speaking confidently has led you to this point. By practicing consistently and integrating all skills, you have reached a level of fluency that allows you to communicate naturally, confidently, and effectively. Maintaining this fluency requires dedication, daily engagement, and a mindset of lifelong learning. Fluency is not merely about speaking English, it is about living it, thinking in it, and connecting with others through it. Your journey continues, and with persistence, curiosity, and practice, your English will remain strong, expressive, and capable of handling any conversation, story, or interaction that comes your way. Congratulations on completing Bookwaves audio and reaching the final chapter of this audiobook. By now, you have learned how to think in English, speak confidently, expand your vocabulary, use idioms naturally, tell engaging stories, and maintain long-term fluency. Remember that practice is key, and consistent daily use of English will strengthen all the skills you have learned here. Keep listening, reading, speaking, and writing in English every day. Challenge yourself with new situations, conversations, and experiences. Your fluency and confidence will continue to grow as you apply these techniques in real life. Thank you for listening, and remember that learning English is a journey. Stay curious, stay motivated, and keep improving. Your path to mastery continues, and every step brings you closer to speaking English effortlessly and naturally.